There's a young man in you that's a superstar regardless of the names that everybody calls you. There's a woman in you that is beautiful regardless of if your mom tells you that or not. I gotta get you dependent on you. I gotta get you dependent on this one in you that knows all the answers, that knows which direction you should go. And I'm asking you to start knocking on life's door and say, who am I? What am I called to do? Follow your dream. It speaks to you. I believe today that today is a life-changing event for you and for me. I want to take you back today, if I may. I want to take you back a little bit so that you understand a little bit more about who I am. I'd like to take you back before there was a Pastor Jeff, before there was a chaplain Crume, before there was a dad, a husband. Before all of that, I want to go back a long time ago.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Okay, maybe not that far back, okay? But I want to take you back, if I may. When I was growing up, we used to watch this program, this show, and it was called To Tell the Truth. And it was this game show like that. These people would come on and there would be 3 contestants, and the moderator would ask each of them, what is your name? And they would say, I am Jeff Crume. They didn't say that, but they said their own name. But the second contestant, they would ask them the question, well, you know what? I'll tell you what. It goes something like this. Let's check this out.
We treat you well on this show. Stroganoff. Stroganoff, dig in and enjoy. There are knives and forks and napkins. Righty now, let's meet the person who specializes in unusual dishes. Here we go.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Terry Arnell.
Number 2.
My name is Terry Arnell.
Number 3.
My name is Terry Arnell.
And as usual, the panel's job is to find out who truly is Terry Arnell, and this is the way the affidavit says. It says, I, Terry Arnell, maintain that meat prices are much too high. As a college student, I simply can't afford to pay $1 for a pound of hamburger, particularly when it fries away to nothing. Fortunately, I've hit on an ingenious, money-saving, palate-pleasing plan. Every meal, from breakfast through dinner, contains the same basic ingredient. Take, for example, my glorious beef stroganoff, which the panel is eating now. Made with noodles, sour cream, carrots, garlic, and potatoes, it is the thrifty shopper's delight. Not only is the meat in my stroganoff healthy and delicious, but also very reasonable in price.
Get out of here, what is it?
Why? What? Because it's dog food. The affidavit is signed Terry Arnell. Terry, take your seat.
So the point is that way back when this show used to be on, and the contestants would all 3 say that they are the same person. And the object was to find out who the real person was. At the end of the show, we don't have time to go through it today, but at the end, the real person would be revealed. And what it spoke to me as is that right now, this game show is kind of like our life. We're 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders, and many of us have different faces. We have a face for our friends. We have a face for mom and dad. We have a us that we show our teachers. But I'm interested in going a little deeper to find out who is the real you on the inside of you. Now, I want to take you back just a little bit further in my own life, if I may, this would be the pre-Pastor Jeff days. This would be the pre-speaker days. This would be the pre-me days. And I don't know, but I think that guy's pretty cute. I don't know about you, but life kept going on, and this little guy turned into this little guy. And then this little kid grew up and became this young boy. And later in life, this young boy transferred to this handsome guy. Now, these are the years that are so cool because by this time, this kid is trying to figure out who he is. At this time, young people, this kid is asking himself the same questions that you ask yourself. Who am I? How do I fit into this place called life? This is those places in our lives where I'm wearing shoes that are too big for me. I am all that and a bag of chips, but I am not all that and a bag of chips. I'm trying to find who I am. And it is the most amazing thing at this stage of our life, boys and girls, young ladies and young men, we are most vulnerable. And when we are most vulnerable, we are at the risk of getting hurt. But I want to help you today find this you in you. And before I'm done, I'm going to ask the question, will the real you please stand up? This kid got a little bit better looking as life went on. Now, this is a big, strapping young man here. This is in his silk shirt. Those were cool in my days. The wide collars, parents that are in the room, the wide collars. And anybody notice the hair? Yeah, we had it going on, the wave, the flip. And this was kind of my preteen years. Now, this preteen grew up with a mom who had epilepsy. So this preteen grew up in a home to where all of a sudden, at a moment's notice, chaos could hit. At a moment's notice, out of no warning at all, mom could have a seizure, and she had grand mal seizures to where this thing would attack itself to my mom, and she would fall on the floor, and she would have this horrific sound come out of her mouth. And this is a young boy. He is 14 years old. He's still trying to figure out who he is. But not only is he trying to figure out who he is, he's trying to figure out what's happening to him. Why is my mom like this? Why didn't I grow up with a better mom? Why couldn't I grow up with a mom that didn't have problems? By the time I got another year or so, I thought I was really all that and a bag of chips, yeah. I had to realize that this one in me who was trying to stand up was not just trying to stand up, but he was trying to act out. Because when our shoes don't fit us yet in life, when we are still growing our way into becoming who it is that we've been created to become, we try on things. We try on personalities. We try to act like different people. Some of us act like we're macho. I remember distinctly this day was the day of the cruising days. I, shortly after this, got my license, and I'm a big-time license person, and I drive my own car now, and I hang my wrist on the steering wheel, and I bomb the music so loud because I'm looking to find out who I am. And if I could just find this song that makes me feel right on the inside, I've identified I can be like that. When I just hang around this crowd that nobody else hangs around with, probably shouldn't hang around with them, but every time I'm with them, they don't make me feel bad. They make me feel like I fit in. Yeah, they're doing a little bit of this, and yeah, a little bit of this, and yeah, they talk bad about other people, but yeah, they're hanging out with the chicks and they're doing their thing, but you know what? I'm so desperate to, who am I anyway? Long before I was an anybody, I dreamed of being a somebody. I don't know if you do this, but I did this when I was your age. I used to dream. I would go in my own closet and I would dream, and I could see myself as the Olympian. I could see myself as the superstar. I was in the pool swimming, and I just was about ready to stand on my platform and receive my gold. And I would hear the voice, "Jeffrey Scott Crume, get out of the bathtub." And that would be my mom, because I had taken way too much time. See, while life is going on, you and I are dreaming of life. Who am I? How do I fit in? And along the way, boys and girls, life will give you a hint. Life will give you a glimpse of who you're created to be. For you, it might be music. You hear somebody play the piano, and there's something in you that jumps, and you go, oh, that's me. I remember all the way back when I was growing up, my mama used to say, Jeffrey Scott. Does your mom ever call you by your middle name? Yeah, that means you're in big trouble, buddy. When mama said Jeffrey Scott, I knew that I was in trouble. But she used to tell me this over, listen to me, over and over and over again. She said, Jeffrey Scott, if you could find somebody to pay you to run that mouth of yours, you would have it made. Ding, 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 ding. The light bulb went on. But it didn't go on until later in life. I thought about public speaking for a career, and I thought, whoa, I can't stand up in front of people and talk. They tell us in the world that public speaking is the second most greatest fear in the entire world. You know what the first one is? Dying. So really what it tells us is that people would rather, what? Die than public speak. Listen to me. Maybe you have a dream in you that the world is telling you, you can't do that. Young lady, young man, maybe it's not the world telling you you can't. Maybe it's you inside of you. There's a voice in there somewhere that says, you will never be able to do that. All the while that voice is talking to you, there's another voice going, yes, you can. There's a voice going, no, you can't. There's a voice going, yes, you can. And I began to decide that I would wrestle the rest of my life, finding out which voice I'm going to allow to control me. And you have to do the very same thing. This speaking thing, I decided I would give it a try. So I got invited to I was just green speaking. I got invited to do my very first speech down at Poway High School. I fit the profile of the speaker. I had my best suit on. I had my speech all memorized, and I'm on my way. It felt so good. I was standing off, big, huge auditorium. I was standing off the side. It was graduation. I was talking to 500 teenagers about life, and I had my speech ready to go. I had it all set, and I'm behind a curtain. My heart's going. Their voices are going, you're never going to do this. Voice going, you can do this. You can never going to do this. You can do this. And all of a sudden I hear, will you please help me welcome Mr. Jeff Crume. Yay! Everybody applauds. And thank you very much. Thank you. You're gracious. I'm walking across the stage to take my place just like I did today. I stood behind the lectern. I kind of ruffled my feathers and I stood there and I sweated like 10 pounds of liquid off my forehead. It's running down my eyes. I got snot in my nose. I can't see. And the lights are like blinding me. And the president of the senior class who introduced me moseys off stage, and I went into autopilot. So glad to be here today. My name is Jeff Crume, and I'm going to teach you how to be the greatest leaders in the world. By the time the president got to the back of the auditorium, I was saying this in closing. It was the shortest speech I had ever given because I spoke from memory. I had rehearsed it, I had practiced, I had known it. But I tell you this was the secret that changed my life, and it is the secret that got me here today. While I'm standing behind the lectern and just about ready to say, in closing, I felt this voice down inside of me, this stirring in my belly, this substance that came on me, this feeling, I still can't describe it, but it said, you have more to say, son. Now I want you to tell him. I want you to tell him what you really need to tell him. See, you told him what you thought you needed to tell him, but you have more to say. And I was so nervous I didn't know what to do with this voice. I kept telling it, shut up, go away, leave me alone. I'm smiling before everybody. And the class president is making her way back to take the microphone. She's got this panicked look on her face. I just paid this guy all this money and he's the shortest speech in the world. What am I going to do? All the while my heart's going, My heart doesn't even beat on a rhythm. It was so scared. And right in then, as she's making her way upstairs, I can still see her. I'm sitting there, and that voice is pleading with me, Jeff, I've put something in you. Will you open your mouth and speak it? And she came up, and it was like slow-mo. Boys and girls, she took the microphone from my hand, and I'm going, no. Because life gave me an opportunity to be what I was destined to be. And I allowed the fear in me to keep me from my destiny. You will face those fears when you grow up and you continue to search out your destiny. But I've got good news for you. There is someone in you that is more powerful than you know at this time. I got this award for being the shortest speech. And I went that day and I decided, okay, God, Mom said that if I could find somebody to pay me to run my mouth, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a motivational speaker. But the definition of motivate is the act or process of giving someone a reason for doing something. See, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I can stand here and I can give you 5 reasons why you should. But here's what I learned. That if you motivate an idiot, you have a motivated idiot. Come on, somebody. So motivation wasn't my solution. I was motivating people, but I was giving them reasons to do well. But boys and girls, I found the same boys and girls that I was talking to, they were still listening to my speech. They were still listening to the same thing, but their life had not changed. I said, God, this motivation thing isn't working for me. I need the next level. And the next level he gave me was to inspire. I felt in my heart that I'm supposed to inspire people. I'm supposed to inspire them. To inspire means to stimulate the mind or emotions to a high level of feeling or activity. So I worked at inspiring people, and I got good at it. I could take a whole crowd, and by the time we're done, we're going, ah! Everybody's high-fiving each other. Yeah, that was great. That was great. What'd you learn? I don't know, but it was so cool. And I realized that I now started to be doing this for so long, I could look at people that I'd spoke to 5 years ago, and I motivated them with everything I had. I inspired them the best of the ability. They were walking on cloud 9 when they left my service, but they still had not changed. They still fought those inner demons. They still fought that one who said it could and the one who said it couldn't. So I landed on this word called to empower. I want you to catch this. 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 This is your miracle moment. This is the day that your life changes. Right now, this word changes our lives. To empower means, number one, to invest with power. See, long time ago when I was just a boy, I was pulled out of a church service and the loudmouth preacher called me up front, put his hands on my head and said, "Son, the Spirit of the Lord God is upon you, for He has anointed you." I thought, oh my God, what does that mean? But I felt that rush in me. I felt that empowerment. I felt like I had been given something that would outlive me. All I had to do was learn how to use it. To empower means to give, to invest. Watch this, legal power and authority. Young person, what you need to understand is that you have the authority and the power to be anybody that you want to be. I could motivate you until you're blue in the face. I could inspire you until you can't see straight. But if I empower you to know that you, down inside of you, are created to be great, that's what I got to get to. The second definition is to equip and supply with the ability or to enable. See, I don't want you to become dependent on me. I don't want to be a drug on the shelf. I don't want to be a fix in somebody's arm. I don't want to sell my CDs at the back so people will depend on me. I got to get you dependent on you. I got to get you dependent on this one in you that knows all the answers, that knows which direction you should go. There is a you in you. There is a you in you. There is a you in you that says, I can do it. This you in you, let me stay here for just a moment. I had to realize that there were two people really in the inside of me. There were this me. I can do it. I can get straight A's. I can handle it. Life, no problem. There was this me, but there was this me. There's a me in me. There's a you in you. There's two of us. One who says I can. One who says I can't. The most important thing about this is that the me that is in me is created. The other me is birthed. See, you were born of your mom and dad. But if you have to depend on your birth in order to make you successful, I got good news and I got bad news. You might make it and you might not. What do you do when daddy drives a Bentley? You know what you do most of the time? You drive a Bentley too. What do you do when mama drives a Porsche and carries a handbag from Saks Fifth Avenue and struts her stuff and does her thing? Oh, are you slamming people that are wealthy? No. Be wealthy, baby. Get it all. Go for it. Do what you got to do. But listen, what if you didn't get that gene? What if you grew up in a household where mom's a drug addict and dad beats you? Or better yet, dad is not even there. You say, you know what, we shouldn't talk about this. You know what, you better talk about this, because I'm here to tell you that you and your generation, you are growing up with greater hurts than what we could ever imagine. The number one hurt that our young generation is facing, boys and girls, is that we are being hurt by people who should love us. And I'm here to set you free. I don't care who should have loved you, but you don't think you got a fair shake. I don't care what your home life is like. I don't care if you got an older brother that put your head in the toilet. I don't care if you got an older sister that makes you feel yucky. I'm here to tell you that there is a you in you that has not just been birthed into your family. There is a you in you that's been created by God. There is a you in you before the formation of the world. God knew you and had a purpose for your life. There is a young man in you that's a superstar regardless of the names that everybody calls you. There's a woman in you that is beautiful regardless of if your mom tells you that or not. Young people, I've got to set you free from the accolades and the affirmations of the world that you live in. I love your mama, don't know her. I love your daddy, don't know him. I love your grandpappy and grandmammy, don't know them. It is not about them, it's about you. I wonder when we turn the lights off and you grow up and mom's not there and dad's not there and brother's not there and sister's not there, will you be able to still do what it is that God has created you to do? My answer to you is yes, you can. There is a birth you and there's a created you. Your birth you makes you in the likeness and image of your parents. Your created you makes you in the likeness and image of your God. Now, before you flipping out on me, you know what? God these days means everything to everybody. But I'm telling you what, there is a passage of ancient scripture that says, if you ask, you will receive. If you seek, you will find. And if you knock, the door will be open unto you. I'm telling you what, young people, I'm not asking you to have a relationship with a God of a church, a God of anything. I'm asking you to start knocking on life's door and say, who am I? What am I called to do? And you will feel way down inside of here, just like I did standing at the lectern, and that voice will say, this is what I want you to say. And at that time, you've got to be brave enough and bold enough to follow, here it is, your intuition. Follow your dream. It speaks to you. Follow what you believe that you are. Respect your mom and dad. Respect the church. Respect your teachers. Yes, do all that. But baby, don't let anything take you away from your destiny. I want to share these final 3 things with you. How do you do this? How do you accomplish? How do you find this me in me that allows me to be who it is I've been created to be? Number 1, you have to learn to do it afraid. Anybody want to admit that they are afraid? Anybody been asked to join the football team, the basketball team, the honor roll society? Well, I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that. I don't know if I'm supposed to do that or not. Listen, fear is the number 1 destroyer of dreams. And as you make your way through life, as you are searching for this me in me, the number 1 thing you have to do is do it afraid. You're going to reach places in your life, boys and girls, you're going to reach places in your life where the unction to move forward, there's a pulling on you going, you can do this, come on, you can do this, come on, you can do this, come on. And there's another pulling going, you'll never make it. I remember my dad, quick story before I close, my dad was in the produce department at Kroger's, the supermarket, back in Goshen, Indiana, where we lived. My daddy worked produce and he could pick you out the sweetest watermelon. He could pick you out the hottest pepper if you like peppers. My dad was an expert in the produce department. He worked it so well, in fact, he could unload the half of a semi before teenagers even get out of bed. My daddy, I remember he had 3 discs deteriorate in his back. He was bleeding internally, didn't tell anybody, but he would strap himself with a waistband so he could get himself out of bed, and he would go to work and work 14 hours in a day and come home and collapse in bed. See, my daddy taught me how to work hard. Why do I stand here? Because I know what perseverance is. I know what it takes to be who it is that you've been called to be. But at the moment, my daddy could have been so much more. They came by and said, you know what, Mr. Crume, we see all this valiant effort that you have put forth in this job. We'd like to promote you to a manager. My daddy goes, well, you know, I don't want the responsibility of the manager. It's not for me. I don't know. Making excuses at the moment of life change because he could not go in himself and believe in the him that was in him. Why do I do what I do? Because I understand what it feels like to be so low, you're even below the ground. I understand what self-esteem is and isn't. I understand what it feels like to look in the mirror and not believe with the one who's staring back at you. I understand what it means to know that you are destined for greatness, but don't know how to do it. I'm telling you what, I come with a word to empower you that you have all the goods you need. Daddy might not have given them to you. Mommy might not have given them to you. The world might not give them to you. The church might not give them to you. But bless God, you have been created with them. And that is the power that you tap into to become who it is that you need to become. But you gotta learn how to do it afraid. The second thing you have to learn is to do it when it hurts. About 6 months ago, I decided to start working out in the gym. At one peak, I was over 235 pounds. I weighed in yesterday at a cool 175. Sweet deal. But thank you very much. But it takes effort. I got to the pool, I jumped in the pool, I started to swim a half a lap, and I'm going, like a fish out of water. What do you do when you're pursuing your dream? What do you do when you're finding this you in you, and you get to this place where it hurts? It hurts. He hurt me, I can't forgive him. Don't you know what he did to me? Don't you know he violated me? He pushed me. She pushed me. She got me in a corner and I tried to get out, but I couldn't get out. I couldn't get away. I pushed them away, but they wouldn't do it. And they hurt you. Are you going to let them still hurt you? Or are you going to set yourself free in them too by saying, I forgive you? It'll hurt, but you'll be set free. In life, to be the you in you, you've got to do it afraid. And number 2, you got to do it even if it hurts. I got to tell somebody something in here, that your past has only prepared you for your future. I'm looking at somebody right here today, and you have children, and your children are going to be the next superstars. And your children's life will depend on you tapping into your destiny. Will you buy into what the world says you are? Will you buy into this flesh part of you that's been grown up by your society and your environment? Or will you tap into this superstar down way inside that you know you could be? You got to do it afraid. You got to do it when it hurts. And here's my last point. You even got to do it alone. Let me tell you something, young person. You have got to learn the moxie. You have got to get the swag down deep inside you. And that swag is not bothered by anybody. And your swag says, I will do it even if I have to do it by myself. I guarantee you, you want to change your campus? Start doing it because you decide so, rather than everybody else says, this is the way we should do it. Do it afraid. Do it when it hurts. And even do it alone. Will the real you please stand up.